Hello everyone, my name is ALEEEEEEESA with 8EASE, and today I'll be casting a 1v1 ladder game. My opponent will be Air. He has 1,153 points, 319 wins, and 280 losses. The map is Scrap Station. Air will be spawning as the red Protoss in the top side. I will be playing as the blue Terran in the bottom side, and right off the bat, Air is going to be bringing one of his probes in. So he is either going to do a proxy 2 gate to me, or a horror gate or hell gate, in which he just puts it in my mineral line. And he's like, I don't care if you see it, I'm just gonna put shit in your mineral line. There's nothing you can do about it. And so he's gonna be bringing his probe here, and notice that the extremely long rush distance on Scrap Station makes it a little bit more difficult for this to be successful. But judging by the timings, yeah, he actually is forced to get his 10th worker before he can actually put down his pylon and stuff, so where you can get up to your 9th worker and then you can just put down a pylon. And so he's putting it in my mineral line, and he knows that if I attack it, I'm just gonna fall behind, so I'm like, fuck this shit, not gonna attack it. And now he's just gonna be annoying as possible, doing that hero probe shenanigans where I'm forced to pull off an SCV and just babysit that probe. The pylon is going down, and he's gonna 10 gateway, putting it right there, not sure why. And me seeing this, I'm going to put down a barracks here. Now I put down this barracks here, and this just actually closes off my mineral line from this direction. So if he wants to get access to it, he's actually going to have to come from this side, which is pretty good for me. And so, let's see, he should be putting down a second gateway now. There's a second gateway. Keep in mind, this is all on 10 harvesters. And I'm putting down my second barracks, going to be trying to wall off this part as much as possible, and I'm just going to keep my SCV on him. This is just going to make him focus his attention on the probe a little bit more, distracting his macro a little bit. And although it's not really hard to macro when you're doing this. But anyway, I have my second barracks building right here, and I'm building a supply depot here. This is going to make it so like zealots can't come from in this direction, but apparently they can come through here, which I'm a fucking retard for leaving that open. So anyway, I'm going to be building my first marine. He is putting down a third pylon, and he is just clogging up my mineral line with his Protoss shenanigans. First zealot is out before my marine's out, and I'm trying to pull my stuff back. Gonna be microing that marine away, and that zealot is going to be able to kill one SCV, 2 SCVs, but he did lose 1 zealot and 1 probe during that time, and right now I'm ahead by him by 2 harvesters, but he is chrono boosting zealots in my mineral line right now. I did finish my bunker, and I don't really like the position of this bunker. I much have preferred it if it was in the middle of my mineral line or right here, but this is what I can do. You can pull all your harvesters and stack them on one mineral patch, and then it'll just make it harder for Error to actually get shots off on my SCVs. And if I periodically do that, stack them, then looks like he's focusing my supply depot. I'm not sure why. There he goes. Finally goes after my SCVs. I'm stacking them again, and he doesn't seem to want to take marine damage, so I'm just going to be microing my marines back in the bunker, and terrible micro on that part. Not able to kill that marine with only 1 hit left. He did manage to kill my supply depot, however, but I'm still up on supply. I do have my other supply depot here, and right now I have 4 marines. He's going for my barracks instead of my SCVs. I think this is because he knows I can just pull back all my SCVs once they do get in range. Getting another SCV right now, and I'm just going to unload my marines. Going to be attacking that zealot, and I'm letting him take shots at my barracks because I was thinking during this time that, you know, once the barracks gets low on health, I'll just lift it. But yeah, so that I rather have him attack my barracks than him attack my workers. So still making more SCVs, putting down another supply depot, and I probably should have gotten an orbital command at this point. Still making more marines as well. And right now he's just going to be going back to my barracks, going to be trying to pick off my marines and doing a little bit of fail macro, losing 1 marine in the process, and I should be stacking my SCVs yet again. And stack. Nope, he decides to retreat before he stacks. There's my stacking again. And I'm now going to be putting down another supply depot here. He did manage to take out my supply depot in the bottom for a wall when I walled off, and I should have just canceled that in the beginning and built it in the back instead of risking it, but I did try to attempt to actually repair that barracks. I should have just lifted instead. I don't really know what I was thinking, but right now he's ahead on harvesters, and if he keeps this up, he'll be pretty much ahead the entire game if I don't do anything soon. The only disadvantage of this is that he is putting all his tech in my base. So right now he's building his own cybernetics core. Now this is a smart thing to do, putting down a cybernetics core before your gateway actually dies.
And this just makes it so you have access to higher tech without losing it. And right here, I really shouldn't be losing any Marines to this. I have 6 Marines and 7 Marines, and I lost. No, yeah, I had 7 Marines and I lost it to 1 Zealot. That's just awful, awful micro. And I have an idle SCV here because I have a fucking learning disability. And right now, I'm just moving my Warcraft looking for any more proxy paladins. Possibly gonna go for a counter now. Yep, I'm gonna go for a counter now. There you go. Go for the counter. And the long rush distance on this map just makes it really hard for me to get a counter there in time because he has 4 zealots. He's building his own gateway, and he's probably able to chrono boost out a stalker or a zealot by the time I get here. I'm not sure why he canceled his gas. I think he needed the minerals to build a zealot. There it is, chrono boosted zealot. I'm moving out with my 6 Marines right now. And in my base, I'm gonna start walling off. I always wall off later on in the game just for fear of Dark Templar. This one guy just absolutely screwed me in my ass with Dark Templars on Desert Oasis, and I learned my lesson from always walling off later on in the game against Protoss. So right now, moving my 6 Marines in, killing that initial Proton Cannon. I'm trying to do QT micro here, and just awful. Having killed no Zealots and lost 2 Marines, that did make him, I did kill his Photon Cannon, so I guess I was up by 50 minerals, but right now his 5 Zealots are chasing me back, and right now I should be frantically putting down a bunker sometime soon. Come on, bunker, there you go. My macro, out of control, god awful macro, and at this point I was like, I didn't really know how to transition out of this because it was just so shocking that I actually held that off. Because when Broken Rhythm does this to me, it's just like, game over, you're Terran, you can't do anything about it. But he didn't do it as well as Broken Rhythm, and it might have been because of the map. And look at the number of SCVs queued up. Just awful play. Right now I do have my barracks up. I should be able to hold off any Zealot and Stalker push. For the time being, he doesn't even have his 4 gates up, so obviously there won't be a push coming time anytime soon. I'm going to be finishing up this gateway, the last monument of the Protoss force in my base. And right now I'm going to be swapping my factory with the barracks, and there you go. And I lifted up for some reason, and I put it back down. And my macro is still god-awful. I should be putting down another supply depot sometime soon. And I really just should be putting down production facilities, pumping out Marauders and Siege Tanks and Vikings. That's usually what I like to go. I'm preferring that over Mass Marine, Banshee, Siege Tank, and Raven. But that is also another opener that I like. So it looks like I'm going to be opting for Mass Marine Banshee opener, or Banshee Raven. And this is because I already had the Marines to begin with, so might as well. And so I'm going to be getting my Siege Tank out, my macro, god awful, but I am putting down my expansion. I think I did scout out his expansion. Nope, not yet. I'm scouting it with my barracks. Yes. It's like 1,000 health overlord. Adjuvant looking very womanly. Not sure why they gave the robot a face. Could have just been a mouth. I don't know what the eyes are for. Not really relevant, however. He is up on Harvesters and Meat, but I'm catching up slowly, and my mules should be out muling him, out incoming him at some point. He has a Sentry and Zealot heavy armory, and I think at this point he warped in a few stalkers just to kill my barracks. Where are those stalkers? There we go. 2 stalkers, so at this point I was like, gotta get pre-igniter. Yep, as you can see, I'm starting pre-igniter. Because I learned my lesson of trying to go Marine and Marauders against Zealot Sentry. It just doesn't work. Unless you get catch them extremely out of position or something. So I like to just use Hellions with pre-igniter. It's so amazingly good against Zealot Sentry, you would not believe, and especially charge lots. Because, like, yeah, charge lots are good for running in your face, but it's like a wild stepchild, you know? You have to keep them on a leash, because if you don't, they run into fucking, like, 5 Marauders and 2 Hellions, and they're just like, oh, blue flame, arr. So building up more SCVs, preparing to maynard them to my expansion, and Error puts a pylon here. Not sure if this is the best place. I would have liked to see it here, because I might be able to see it if I walk by, or if I build like a tower here, he can see it. But his macro, keeping his minerals very low. Looking at mine, oh, low too. That's odd. And right now, usually when I like to expand, I'm gonna salvage this bunker, put up 2 bunkers here, and a couple production facilities, usually barracks, and this is gonna make it give it a little choke point, man-made choke point. This is gonna make it harder for him to move in with zealots. That's something you don't want to do against Terran, however. Alright, now I do have my turret and his best friend, the sensor tower. And that is just going to protect it against any void rays that do decide to come by, pop their heads over, and observers. Observer seeing the turret, moving away. And right now I have a Marine and Hellion, Raven, and Siege Tank in my army. That was a terrible description of an army. Getting a turret in the back of my mineral line, and this is not because I fear air. Well, it kind of is. I don't like warp prisms dropping in zealots in my mineral line. I don't know about you guys, but it's just those goddamn zealots in my mineral line. They're so hard to kill too. Zealots in my mineral line. They make me so mad. Putting down another turret in the back of my mineral line as well. And this is once again not for the void ray, but same reason. The warp prisms. And so he still has his pylon here. His army is pretty balanced. The good thing about having Hellions with pre-igniter is that once the zealots go in, they just die instantly, and so, or they don't die instantly, but they die very quickly. And then so the rest of the army can be handled by Marauders. And Marauder Hellion works great against Zerg too, but I don't have any Marauders. I have Marines, and Marines with Stim, very good against Protoss Mech, which is, you know, Immortals and Stalkers. Marines without Stim, however, god-awful against Protoss Mech. I'm not sure why. But yeah. This army is pretty fearsome if I don't get caught up position and if I stim in time because of the fucking point defense drone. Oh my god, that thing is so good. Point defense drone is a beast, and at this point I should have realized he had an observer on the high ground killing my missile turret, and I was gonna pair this missile turret up with a sensor tower and make my 2 big boobs right here. You'll see my boobs later on. And so I got Hellions in the front, and Hellions are great fodder. They tank Stalkers pretty well. They take 8 damage, or they take 8 hits from the Stalker, and so that'll just give time for the Marines to go to work on the Stalkers, killing another observer. And right now, I'm doing a little bit of scanning. Should be preemptively sieging up because I don't really. One of the worst things you can do as Terran is to siege up too late, and I just hate that feeling when you see their army coming up, and your tanks aren't in position. So I always like to go for the premature ejaculation because, you know, you can always go for the full ejaculation later, but, you know, premature, just send them a warning. Right now, I'm going to be building a sensor tower, and my macro is amazing right now. 1,000 points. And this, not 1,000 points, 1,000 minerals, sorry. And this is actually a little known fact. The more money you have, you can actually get interest on them. Like, there's the bank, right? The Terran bank, and the more money you have, the more interest you get over time. So that's why a lot of bronze players, this is a very, very hidden secret fact about Starcraft. You can only find this on StarCraft2secrets.com. And you save up your money, you let the interest accrue, and then you steamroll them. It's very, very not well known, but very, very powerful in the hands of a good bronze player. So it looks like I'm getting another factory. I usually like to go 2 factories and just pump siege tanks and the rest of them Marines and Marauders, although I stopped favoring Marauders or Marines just because of how sensitive they are to the Psystorm. Psystorm just makes them so mad. So I'm moving in right now with my Marine heavy Hellion, very mineral heavy, and I'm putting all my gas in basically my air units. And my army is actually more in minerals but less in gas, and if only I had my map hacks on, should have just gone here and just steamrolled the crap out of this, or at least with, you know, 4 Marines or something, but I didn't because I have fucking learning disability. So I'm going to be moving my siege tank here and preemptively sieging up. I always go for the premature ejaculation. My macro is trying to just get as much interest as I can. And right now, unsieging up, and god fucking damn it, he comes in exactly at the place I unsiege up. That, oh my god, Storm just destroying everything, god damn it. But look at the imbalance of point defense drone. 2 point defense drones go down, and that tanks freaking 400 to 600 damage worth of Stalker fire, which is fucking amazing. So right now I got my Cloak Banshees, 1 at town with my Mirage, these 2 siege tanks not getting picked off for some reason, and I just destroyed his army. And it's basically just the point defense drones and the Banshees that weren't able to be taken down and did it for me. And right now I am in a great position. I should have just moved down to this point, but little did I know